And I'm Frank Perkins, and welcome to the 1, 2, 3. And here we are, and we're going to, of course, go right where we always go, and it's time for the Superstar of the Week. This superstar is real big. It's going to take a minute for us to load here. Hold on, I got to get him out here. He takes a minute. All right, so Leon Allen White, born May 14th, 1955, passed away June 18th, 2018, so not that long ago. Better known by his ring names, Big Van Vader and Simply Vader, was an American professional wrestler and professional football player. Throughout his career, he performed for New Japan Pro Wrestling, World Championship Wrestling, the World Wrestling Federation, and All Japan Pro Wrestling. During the 1990s and 2000s, White is widely regarded as one of the greatest super heavyweight professional wrestlers of all time. While he performed as a monstrous wrestler, and he was capable of aerial maneuvers, his diving moonsault was voted the best wrestling maneuver of 1993 by Wrestling Observer newsletter readers, among other accolades in WCW and Japan. He won the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and the WCW World Heavyweight Championship 3 times each, the Triple Crown Heavyweight Championship twice, and the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship once, and won the Battle Royale main event of the 1993 Battle Bowl pay-per-view. He headlined multiple pay-per-view events for the WCW for the WWF and WCW. Vader was inducted into the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame in 1996. I'm going to talk about it a little bit here. Wow, it's moving fast. It's weird. Okay. We'll go through this a little bit, not too much. All right. Vader was originally signed with WCW in 1990, but was only used sparingly until 1991. Vader's first match in WCW took place on July 7th, 1990 at the Great American Bash, where he defeated Tom Zank in a little over 2 minutes. 7 months later, he returned for Wrestle War, where he battled Stan Hansen to a double disqualification. 8 months later, he returned at Halloween Havoc and took part in the Chamber of Horrors match, in which Vader's team lost due to Abdullah the Butcher being electrocuted by their partner, Cactus Jack. 2 months later, he would take part of Starrcade's Lethal Lottery, where he learned with Mr. Hughes and defeated Rick Steiner and the Night Stalker, who is subbing for an injured Diamond Stud, to advance to the Battle Bowl Battle Royale, in which he was eliminated. WCW 1992 to 1993. When he began working for WCW full-time, Vader was paired with the manager, Harley Race, and received a shot at Sting's title shot. So that was pretty cool. Complete and frequently while recuperating, Vader received a rematch with Sting on July 12th at the Great American Bash, which he won and became the new WCW World Heavyweight Champion. His reign was short-lived, and he re-injured his knee, forcing him to lose the title 3 weeks later to Ron Simmons. He substituted for Sting, and he was attacked by Jake Roberts earlier that night. Vader was out of action after Clash of Champions in September as he underwent knee surgery. Upon his return at Halloween Havoc, Vader sent Nikita Koloff into retirement and legitimately sprained the back of jobber Joe Thurman. Upon returning to WCW, Mick Foley, then wrestling as Cactus Jack, defeated Vader via countout on the April 17th episode of Saturday Night. During the match, Jack suffered a broken nose and needed 27 stitches on his face. The match was heavily edited for broadcast as WCW did not wish to show the severe bleeding. In a rematch on April 24th, Vader powerbombed Jack into the concrete floor outside the ring, resulting in Jack suffering a concussion and temporary loss of feeling in his left hand and leg. In the meantime, Vader began to feud with the new arrival to WCW, Davey Boy Smith. They met at Slamboree in May for the World Heavyweight Championship. Vader lost by dequal when he hit Smith with a chair. Though he retained the title, Vader and Sid Vicious then formed a partnership and called themselves the Masters of the Powerbomb. They were defeated by Smith and his partner Sting at Beach Blast in July. Following this, Vader and Cactus Jack's feud was restarted as Jack was cleared to return for Halloween Havoc to face Vader in the Texas Death Match. Vader won when Harley Race stunned Jack with a cattle prod that kept him down for a 10 count. Vader was originally scheduled to face Sid Vicious at Starrcade. The real-life dismissal of Vicious after Arn Anderson stabbed him in England, however, forced WCW to find quick replacement. Executive producer Eric Bischoff placed Ric Flair in the match, which was scheduled in Flair's hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina. In the storyline, Vader did not take Flair seriously until he agreed to put his career on the line against Vader's title. Vader dominated the match, but Flair capitalized on field interference by Race and Vader's weakened knees to win the match with a roll-up and end Vader's third World Heavyweight Championship reign. And I want to skip a bit to Jim Cornette. He was also in the UWF, which was the Union of Wrestling Forces. Oh, that's not the one I thought it was. Okay. In the weeks leading up to the 1996 Royal Rumble, Vader's debut was heavily hyped on television as he was billed as the man they call Vader, though Vince McMahon had originally wanted to rename him the Mastodon. That makes sense because of the metal face mask that he used to wear. First World Wrestling Federation appearance as a participant in the Royal Rumble match, as he entered number 13 and eliminated Jake Roberts, Doug Gilbert, one member of the SWAT team, Salva Vega. He also fought his ally Yokozuna, but Vader was eliminated by Shawn Michaels before he re-entered the ring and started assaulting everyone, including Michaels. Vader defeated Vega on the following Monday Night Raw before assaulting WWF officials, and eventually WWF President Gorilla Monsoon demanded that Vader cease his attacks and received a Vader bomb for his efforts. As a result, Vader was suspended for his actions, though in reality he needed time off for shoulder surgery. Jim Cornette campaigned for Vader's reinstatement, but by the time Vader returned, Yokozuna had left Cornette's management. At February In Your House 6, Vader appeared during Yokozuna's match against the British Bulldog, and as Yokozuna was about to pin the Bulldog, Vader attacked him, handcuffed him, and delivered a severe beating. This led to what was supposed to be a one-on-one encounter between Vader and Yokozuna at WrestleMania 12. However, the match became a six-man tag team match, pitting Vader, Owen Hart, and the British Bulldog against Yokozuna. Ahmed Johnson and Jake Roberts, with the stipulation that if Yokozuna's team won the match, he would have 5 minutes alone with Cornette in the ring. This never occurred as Vader's team won the match when Vader pinned Roberts. Vader then attacked the WWF champion Shawn Michaels after one of Michaels' matches, which earned him a spot in the six-man tag team match In Your House 9 International Incident, where Vader, Owen Hart, and the British Bulldog teamed up against Michaels, Ahmed Johnson, and Psycho Sid. Vader again received an opportunity to face The Undertaker, this time for WWF Championship at In Your House 16 Canadian Stampede, but lost. On the following night's Raw's War, Vader wrestled the Patriot. By the way, the Patriot just passed away this weekend. I don't know if people are aware of that, but that is the case. The Patriot used to be on Global. I remember watching him when I was a kid, so it's kind of interesting. Wanted to share that. All right. He was on, he actually came on to the NWA for a little bit of time, TNA, to defend Dusty Rhodes, who was fighting with the Harris Brothers. He and Dusty won a tag team match the next week against the Harris Brothers via disqualification. Dusty Rhodes and Vader, that's a really big bunch of dudes. All right, so that is Big Van Vader, and I'm trying to get these a little bit tighter, but it's I don't know. I've been trying to find some books because I've been trying to advance the program. We had a program when when I first started with Julio, with the 1, 2, 3, we would do this, and the one thing that I did was to make it a little bit better or special was the Superstar of the Week. But I want to have something that was like, one of the things that I did is I read about Gorgeous George, and I thought that was a really good segment. But I don't feel like we've had that good of a segment with the Superstar of the Week since then. So I've been trying to clean that up. We had, I think, a better show before on the radio because, especially when I was going more into the independent, but that's been hard lately because of COVID. So we're working on trying to get that, and because we don't want to just be a results show. We want to be talking about, things that people might be something different, that people are like, oh, that's cool, some actual news, So, of course, we're going to go into results right now because that's the way it goes, I guess, sometimes. And we're going to go into the SmackDown results. And I saw a little bit of SmackDown. A lot of times, something about Fridays, I don't end up getting a chance to see it. Part of it is because we do the show at 6:30, so that does affect things a little bit. But let's look through this. One thing that was kind of interesting is Roman Reigns was not there, at least at first. But I'll go through those reactions here. So we had Friday Night SmackDown on Fox, and the March toward Money in the Bank, which is going to be on July 18th. So next week, I think. Let me see. I think it's next week. I want to say it's next week, but I may be wrong. Maybe just something. Yeah, the 16th is. Wait, what? It was the 18th. It's the 18th. Okay. So yeah, that'll be on not this Sunday, but next Sunday. So it's coming up. The match towards Money in the Bank, SmackDown with Last Man Standing match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And that was crazy. They bounced each other off of here, there, and everywhere. And then the match that headlined a show that also promised the fallout from Edge's return last week. A return a week ago, subsequent revelation that the Rated R Superstar would challenge Roman Reigns. So Jimmy Uso was challenging them. But let's see here. My phone is, or not my phone. The thing is slow here. So first we had Edge, and he was addressing Roman Reigns. He admitted his disappointment when with the way that WrestleMania went, obviously, because he was double stacked. That would be disappointing. I dropped up his promo by expressing confidence in his ability to beat Reigns at Money in the Bank, vowing to dethrone him 2 weeks from Sunday night. And then we had then we had Kinsuke Nakamura and Big E versus Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews. And that wants to go faster, and now I can't read it. Of course it does. My computer's really slow today. Sorry, or at least the web is getting to the stories here. And we're gonna try and hurry up because I know that Raw is coming up. So try and get it done. A despondent Baron Corbin teamed with Intercontinental Champion Apollo Crews to battle Big E and Shinsuke Nakamura in the night's opening match. Wait, what? That's confusing because I'm just thinking about the fact that Shinsuke's been acting like he's a heel. Big E's been acting like he's a face. Corbin is now acting like he's a face. So I'm very confused. And Apollo Crews is a heel, so that's a weird combination of folks. Corbin and Crews punished Big E for a large portion of the match until Rick Boogs, accompanying Nakamura, revealed the former United States champion's G-Wagon was being repossessed. So his car, yeah, I saw that. It was like his family wagon was being repossessed, and they were saying that maybe the repo man had taken it. It was weird. It was kind of weird. Then we had, but this was not very good. Probably a potty break match, as they say. Awesome. Now it's just locked up. That's great. So then we had a despondent and oddly enough, there's a rumor going around that they're going to change Baron Corbin's name to Happy Corbin or something. I don't know. Because jokes get over so much better. I don't understand so much. Bianca Belair's challenge to Bayley. Bayley cut a promo on Bianca Belair, claiming her loss last week is not a good omen for her young title reign. We don't know why this is still a thing, but it looks like it is. And they're going to do an I Quit match. And Bayley is saying that she's going to quit if she loses. So we'll see how that goes. I know the click. You got to hear the clicking, and that's terrible. Like I'm trying to. There's so many commercials on this site, on Bleacher Report, that it's just impossible to get through reasonably fast. So we may have to figure out some other way to do that. All right, so the ending culmination is that we had Edge beating Jimmy Uso at the end, and of course, the big news is that Zelina Vega is back. And they didn't act like it was a return. They acted like it was just like she just showed up. that she'd been working all this time. She's just been taking some time off or something, and they didn't even act like that. There's a lot of issues with unions and things, so that's kind of an interesting issue. Let's go through the results of AEW Dynamite. I watched it, and honestly, actually, it was pretty memorable, but I just don't. I think if I have a little list, I'll have an idea. But if I get that, I'm not going to. I don't know if we can get them. Because we want the results, and that would have been. We're not doing Bleacher Report again. Let's just do All Elite Wrestling for June 18th. Actually, no, it would have been June 30th. Here we are. All right. So, we had Chris Jericho joining the commentary team for the night. And this is a return. We had a World Tag Team title eliminator match. AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks. Matt and Nick Jackson with Brandon Cutler versus Mad King Eddie Kingston and Penta El Zero. If the team in Kingston and Penta El Zero win, they earn a future title match. The Bucks came out with more facial hair and were particularly displeasing. I'm just not a fan of the Young Bucks anymore. I don't think I ever will be. Like, I really feel like they on purpose buried FTW or FTR. Sorry. That they buried FTR, and I'm just not fans of them. But they used their world famous tandem offense to regain momentum. And luckily, I'm actually pretty happy with this one because the winners this time, the Good Brothers, came down and watched the match from ringside, but Frankie Kazarian backed them off. And at the end of the day, let's see. And so then we had Eddie Kingston blasting Matt and scoring the pin. Then we had All Ego Ethan Page. We had Jungle Boy versus Jack Evans was up next. And I'm going to have to ignore this because I am currently recording. Earlier in the day, MJF had some things to get off his chest. He said the next week he'd announce the stipulations for Chris Jericho, so that's something that's going to be coming up that we'll definitely be talking about in a minute here. Tony Schiavone interviewed Kenny Omega in the ring. I don't know what this crap is or why it wants to come. I don't want it. Anyway. So Omega came out, and that's when Evil Uno and the Dark Order walked out and challenged and this is when he challenged. Oh my gosh, it's bouncing all over, folks. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this done, and I just don't like the way this is working. Is not good because I'm not giving good content. And so I think what I'm gonna do is well, first I'm gonna stop doing this right now because I'm having problems, and honestly, we're just going through things that you can actually look up, and I don't want to do that anymore. So we have about 5 more minutes. So I wanted to take some time and talk about Raw before the end of the program. And right now, I know we're about 5 minutes into the program, so I'm just going to make some quick predictions. And my predictions are going to be that we're going to have Riddle versus AJ Styles. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to do a Riddle versus AJ Styles match for Money in the Bank. So I think that we're going to see a couple of the Riddles versus Styles matches. I'm going to write these down because I'm going to revisit this. All right, Riddle versus Styles. I think that we're going to have I'm going to predict. Okay, so I'm going to give the main event. The main event is going to be Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. I'm just going to say it because I think that I don't know why. I'm just going to throw that one out there because it's just as random as the rest of the booking. Sure, I'll book it. Okay, so Riddle versus Styles, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. We never get a chance to see. Let's have 90 Neidhart against. It doesn't matter. Let's go with. What is it? One of the blondes. You can figure out the blondes. Doesn't matter. And I don't know. Mandy Rose. Yeah, Mandy Rose versus. Oh, and then we'll have let's do a handicap match. Let's do. Actually, no. We'll do tag team. I think we had this, but we'll just do it again because why not? With the superhero chick that I can't think of her name right now. Not trying to down her actually. Nikki Cross. So we'll have Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss versus a tag team. Hey, let's do a three-way. Let's go nuts and just do a three-way. Let's do Alexa Bliss and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Nia Jax and person we used to be scared of until she ran from a doll. I can't think of her name. And Asuka versus wow, I got to be careful with my hand. I'm just like touching myself all the time. Sorry about that. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's do a three-way, and I don't know. Hopefully, Raw won't be so bad. Enjoy it. You're 3 hours ahead. Do me a favor. Don't spoil it, and enjoy. Have a great day, everybody. Good night. And you're listening to the 1, 2, 3